That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna change my line of question. What was your relationship to the victim that you were incarcerated for now?
That's my niece. That is my biological brother's daughter.
Good morning. The committee on parole is called back to order. The time is 11:30. Our next case is Mr. Eugene Minor. Mr. Minor, would you please give us your full name and DOC number?
Eugene Renee Minor, DOC 605178.
Thank you, Mr. Minor. Mr. Minor, let me explain our process to you. First, I'm going to read some information into the record. Then the board is going to conduct a parole interview with you. At the appropriate time, we will allow the participants who've indicated willingness to speak have their input. At the end of that process, you can make a brief statement before the board. Those persons who are here today with us that wish to speak are on Zoom. Your great aunt in support is Carol Emery, your brother Julius Sanchez, and your godmother Dale Pierre. Speaking in opposition are Miss Genesis Sterling, Joan Minor, and Andre, just present. No one speaking, but they are present here in the our facility here at headquarters. Do you understand our process, sir?
Yes, sir.
This is Eugene Minor, DOC number 605178, date of birth February the 27th of 1988. He's a second-class offender. He has a parole eligibility date of October the 4th of 2022. He is not eligible for good time. He has a full-term date of October the 4th of 2027. He is currently serving a 10-year sentence on the charge of indecent behavior with juvenile. Mr. Minor, is that information all appear to be accurate?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Minor, your case has been assigned to Ms. Pearl Wise. She will begin our interview process. Would you please answer any questions she might have?
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
How's it going?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, good. Is this your first parole hearing?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Oh, okay, good, good. But come up for the record how long you've been in jail on this charge.
It'll be 5 years, approximately 6 years, and the coming October 4th of this year.
In October will be 6 years, all right, 5 years. And how old are you today?
35.
35. How much education do you have?
I did complete my high set diploma in 2020, December of 2020. But the last actual grade that I completed was the 7th grade. I was in the 8th grade, but I hadn't completed the 8th grade. I being incarcerated, I've gotten my high set diploma.
Very good. I had that at the top of my sheet. Yeah, December the 8th of 2020, you got the high set. Congratulations. They don't give those away. So I know you worked hard.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a trade? Are you working toward a trade?
I have enrolled in Ashland University.
Okay.
The application is still open only due to the fact that there has been some type of hold on the Second Chance Pell Grant. But I do have a trade that I have accumulated in still framing while I was outside in society in 2007 or 2008 in still framing. And I've worked multiple of jobs dealing with steel as a whole. But as far as furthering my education, I'm still awaiting either Ashland or to get in some other type of recreational and job experience program.
Okay. Have you decided what you would major in if you got accepted into Ashland?
Yes, ma'am. I will be going for my associates in business management.
Okay.
A couple of the curriculums would include world religion, financial, as well as either sociology, psychology, or
Good.
actually,
Yes, that sounds really good. You do have a pending charges from 2018 in Orleans Parish, that they do have a detainer on you. Are you aware of that?
when my lawyer, whom I had in representing,
Correction, they don't have a detainer, but there's an outstanding warrant, and that's why they don't have a detainer. So what you showing warrant, there's no detainer on it, right?
correct, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, there's no detainer, but they do have a warrant for you from 2018. Are you aware of those open charges?
I'm not.
It's quite a few charges. It seems like it was a domestic violence incident. Well, you got 6 charges on April the 22nd of 2017. You went wild that day.
I've been incarcerated since October 4th, 2017, man.
Well, I don't know that date of 4/27, 22 or 27 is when the charge was alleged, was lodged, or when it was committed. I don't know. But on the rap sheet, it's showing that's the date that you was charged with. I don't know when the incident occurred. Okay. But they do have an open bond. If you got any family, you can ask them to go look at it and find out what's going on with it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. You in your criminal history, you had a cruelty to juvenile charge back in 2006. What was that about?
I had encountered a young lady whom I had met in New Orleans, Louisiana, when I was located at a residence in New Orleans East. I was misled and my entire family was misled on the actual age of this individual, in which we later found out that she had been a runaway from, I believe, Covington, Georgia. And which when it was, brought to our attention, I was turned into the precinct to, deal with that accordingly. So
with the cruelty to juvenile, what was the cruelty? And I think what I'm looking at, you got 24 days in the parish jail.
That you said, and pertaining to the misdemeanor carnal knowledge of a juvenile.
Okay, now you had a carnal knowledge of a juvenile, that was in 2017. So I'm talking about the 2006 incident. I was going to ask you about the 2017 next. The misdemeanor carnal knowledge of a juvenile. You don't recall those?
I've only in 2006, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Unless I miswrote it, yeah, that's what I'm showing. Yeah, but that's okay.
I'm sorry. That could have cruelty to a juvenile. That could have been an incident. I'm not for certain, but because I can't even. I remember in 2000.
That's what the information I have shows. That was the outcome of the cruelty to a juvenile charge. You got 24 days in the parish jail. Okay, that's okay. I was just curious because it says I like to kind of look at history and how did you get here? How did you get to indecent behavior with juvenile?
Oh, okay. Excuse me. I apologize. I do recall that incident in which I got into a fight with the guy out 2006, which was a year after Katrina. I had to be just making 17 years old, and at a trailer park, Myrtle Grove Trailer Park, in which I had gotten into a fight with a guy who was approximately the age of 15 or 16 years old. It was a verbal altercation that ended up getting physical, in which the police had gotten called in that yes, ma'am.
24 days in the parish jail. And so the 2017 must be when the girl was a runaway, and then you didn't know she was a minor.
That was
the 2017.
Oh, that wasn't 2017, ma'am. That was 2000, and if I'm not mistaken, the 13. It was charged as felony carnal knowledge of a juvenile, but then was amended to misdemeanor carnal knowledge of a juvenile.
Yes, that's what the record shows. But I was trying to figure out what happened in that incident. That's what I'm asking you about. I have that in the record.
Talking about the one that I'm incarcerated for today, ma'am? Or
That's
the
okay.
one?
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna change my line of question. What was your relationship to the victim that you were incarcerated for now?
That's my niece. That is my biological brother's daughter.
Okay, right. Speak to that now. Now that you've been down for 5 years, what have you come to the conclusion about it? If you had a chance to say anything to her, what would you say?
That my actions were not justifiable, that my words wouldn't be able to express the remorse that I have to extend to that person, that person did nothing wrong, deserving of my foolish actions that I depicted, that it wasn't her fault, that, that, I mean, I've just come, I've done a lot to try to atone, to try to just for future references to not end up having to inflict this much pain on any other individual, because no one is deserving of that. With the deepest sincerity, I mean, I can't take back what I did, and I would just hope that it not have caused as detrimental of a problem as psychologically wise, because there is a ripple effect. There is my actions didn't just hurt the victim's family, the victims, the community, the media, just the integrity wise. There's a psychological strain and an emotional pain that was caused that's been scarred, and I myself, knowing that the effect that could have on a person, because it's not about me, and that's where I'm at with this. Just
Okay, that was my way of asking you. I saw you took the victim impact class. You finished that on June the 26th of 23. You just finished that. So I guess your answer there was what you learned in that victim impact class.
Also, I had learned multiple of things dealing with victims. I took the entire 4-phase SOTP program, which stands for the acronym for Sex Offender Therapy Program. And I received all 4 of those phases prior to also getting into the victims impact course in 2023. And I've learned that, it's just for every choice, every single choice that we make in life has a reaction, it has an effect, and it doesn't just stop with the initial person or whatever that the crime that is being committed. It doesn't just impact one individual. There's a system, there's a web that is created that extends, and it causes it impacts more lives than we.
I'm gonna stop you there. I get the picture. I'm going to stop you there. So I want to talk about your write-ups. You had 3 write-ups in 2022. You had 1 in 2021 and 1 in 2020. That's concerning for me. And one of your write-ups, 6/8 of 2022, was because you were talking loud. Just talking loud. And when the officer actually stopped talking. Explain that to me.
There's, again, I won't sit here and I won't make excuses for my actions. I take full responsibility for them. But being that you asked for me to explain it to you, they had just had some new roll-ins on transitional unit on N1, which is a step away from actually getting back onto the compound and compound of the unit, general population, have you. And there was loud noises being made, and the officer had said the next person to make any noise would be written up. He didn't care who it was. And actually the noise that I was making was me just trying to get his attention for him to come to my cell, which I was calling for the guard. But, you know, with all of the extra confusion going on, he kind of just was like, all right, you just kind of being disrespectful. But my intent was to actually get this officer to come and see what I want. And I actually said, it's Eugene Minor, cell such and such, that's trying to speak to you. But I mean, I can understand the frustration and the confusion and why he ended up writing me up for that.
But he had just said what he said.
He did, in pertaining to the yes, ma'am, he did.
Okay. If you're successful today, where would you live and how would you support yourself?
I have plans to get out, and there's a residence provided for me from my great aunt who has property. She has she's really been my support system for as long as I can remember, for all my life, really. And my dad has a landscaping company in which he, I believe, had just been found to have dementia, in which I wouldn't have a problem in going out and taking over those customers. Being I used to go to work with him all the time growing up with him. And also I will be in the market to look for another part-time job as well. And I did have plans on going and enrolling in a community college in the area to try to still further my education even more so.
I just want to state this for the record. I saw that you participated in the spelling bee in 2019. I hadn't seen that. That was new to me. That's great. That's great. I don't know how you came out, but you did participate.
Who cares? Who cares? What are we even talking about right now? Making light of this situation is just asinine. Maybe I'm too serious of a person, but I don't think there's anything funny. If I were the parent of this little girl, I'll be so pissed off right now. Giving accolades to a man that's already supposed to know how to spell is nasty work. And everyone's so proud. Look.
It was down to me and one other guy, and my word was initiative. And being that I was just so pressured behind spelling it so quickly, I spelled it with an A instead of an I. Instead of N-I-T-I-T-E, I spelled it I-N-I-T-A-V-I. It's great. I spelled it, misspelled it by one letter though, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what do you do every day now in the prison? What's your job?
Well, I'm a dorm orderly. I'm assigned dorm orderly.
Okay.
I'm also in reentry, the reentry program. Our last week is this Tuesday coming. So I'll be completed with that reentry program as well. I've applied for the honor card in hopes to get which I believe they should be holding an honor board really soon, but to try to, if hypothetically speaking, that I don't make parole, that I would be able to try to get a more hands-on job, maybe prison industries or enemy, as well as still try to, of course, further my education or work experience and maybe a co program or something.
Yeah. All right, then that's all my questions. Warren, what can you tell us about this young man?
I don't have any comment, Ms. Wise.
All right, thank you, sir. That concludes my interview.
Thank you very much. Now we'll hear from your supporters. This is Carol Emery. Ms. Emery, if you would please give us your full name and tell us what you'd like us to say about your nephew.
My name is Carol Lewis Emery. Eugene has been in my life, like he said, from birth. Eugene has lots of issues growing up. We've spent a lot of time getting him the help and services he needs. He's diagnosed with Asperger and schizophrenia. And I know on and off there, he's been on and off his medicine. Sometimes it's hard to explain, but he's very intelligent. He was raised in a family that loves him. We supported him in everything he's done. It's always been a Christian atmosphere. He knows the word. He knows right from wrong. He can be impulsive. Even in school, he get into things. He's been in therapy forever, but he has a heart. It's unfortunate that what happened. I know he's remorseful. So are we. There was a lot of things going back and forth with him and his biological mother, who was my niece, for years. And I tried my best to protect him, to stay away from them, because she honestly never wanted to have anything to do with him. But as a kid, people want to know who their moms are. So the back and forward happened. This situation happened. I wish he had listened to me and stayed away, but he didn't. That's unfortunate. When he comes here, he has all the support he could ever need from this family. I actually, my husband and I have, my husband had 5 kids. From a first marriage, I had 3. So that was 8. And then we raised Eugene. So there's 9. We have a huge extended family. And so there's no issue. We don't make excuses for him. Everybody's held accountable. I'm absolutely in the process of locating a place for him. It's going to be a mobile home, or we're going to rent, or we're going to do something, but he absolutely will have somewhere to stay. He absolutely will have people that's going to monitor him and make sure he do what he's supposed to do. And so I have his daughter, who's now 7. He's given me full custody from there, and I have full custody from the courts on her mom's side. We've already put things in place to make sure everybody's safe, including him. You know, we don't ever want this to ever happen again. And so I know coming home would benefit him. We miss him, and I know he miss us. And that's all I can think to say. I want you to know that he does have a real support system, and he really does have a support system between the church, the family, and the community. People are looking for him to come home and do something positive with his life.
Thank you very much.
Continue to do something positive with his life.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate your comments.
Yep.
Now we're here from Mr. Julius Sanchez.
Good morning. I'm Julius Sanchez. I'm Eugene's brother and probably his biggest supporter. I was always the one that tried to keep him in line, and I would advocate for him when my mom was telling me he made bad decisions. I just thought it was his mind. But one day I really realized the Asperger's thing. It's failure to make good decisions. So from that point on, I would try to help him to make good decisions and stay on them right. Unfortunately, when this incident happened, I had been moved to Oklahoma for some studyings, and I wasn't around when this incident happened. And it's very unfortunate that it happened. I don't know all the details, but I know maybe I shouldn't say this, but honestly, I don't. It's hard for me to believe that. For me, and I don't know. He's confessing. He said this part, but it's hard for me to believe that he would even do that. You know, and I know some of the other incidents that he spoke to y'all, but in the past, it was just him making bad decisions and not thinking things out, which I think was a direct result of his Asperger's, diagnosis. But he's here, and look, if my mom is gonna have a place, but I have a house with 2 bedrooms, so I'm gonna make sure he has somewhere to stay and all the support that he needs, especially emotionally and spiritually. And I know you won't have the opportunity to talk to Eugene in depth, but he's a very spiritual person. You know, he's a very intelligent person, right? So I think he just made some bad decisions in life, which we all did. Believe me, I made some in my life, and I know there's atonement and there's redemption and what he knows in Jesus Christ. So we're ready. We're ready for him to come home, and we're here to support him.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sanchez. We appreciate your comments. Dale Pierre.
Yes, I'm Dale Pierre. I'm his godmother. And I've been in Eugene's life since he was 10 months old and came out the hospital. I've gone with his aunt to pick him up several times, many, many times. I know him. He's been in and out my house, him and my son, who is the same age as he is, 35. They are like brothers. And my son works a job where he can get him hired with him as a security officer. So he would have a job that wouldn't be an issue. And like Julius and Carol both said, Eugene would have somewhere to stay. And if all else fails, he can, I have a 4-bedroom house, he's welcome to stay in. Eugene is a good kid. I've known him, like I said, all of his life. I know him. I'm a mental health social worker. I also work with clients who have schizophrenia. And Eugene, when he's off his meds, is when he's his worst enemy. And so I'm believing that when he's consistent, I know he does the right thing. He make wise choices, but he's impulsive, like Carol says, and he does make unwise choices at that time. But as long as he takes his meds, Eugene is good. He follows through the things he says. He's a sweetheart. And I love him. So I guess it's easy for me to say those things, but it's facts. And we're all Christians. Eugene know the word. He's been raised in church all of his life. And so we're looking forward to him coming back home and being a productive citizen in the community.
Thank you very much, ma'am. We appreciate your comments. Mr. Minor, is there anything you'd like to say to the board before the board votes?
Just want to say that again, how deeply remorseful I am for my actions. And that I can assure that, especially being on this side of the wall and having seen what I've seen and been forced to be away from people who actually love and want to see and me do good for myself as well as for mankind. I mean, I just can assure that I'm not trying to live this thing. This is not for me. And I'll do by all means anything necessary and go above and beyond to the best of my ability to do better, to where this doesn't have to happen to anybody else, as well as me having to end up in a institution like this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Minor. Panel ready to vote?
Yes,
Ms.
yes.
Wise?
Eugene, as your family has said, you're a highly intelligent young man. You have to work a little harder, and with your connection with your brains and your actions, you have to work a little harder with that Asperger's than everyone else have to. So I want you to hear from me. I'm just one vote, just not today. For me, my vote is denied. I would like to see a longer period right up free. Demonstrate that you can control yourself. And the age of the victim and the impact of the crime on the victim is disturbing for me. Also, you have a high needs, and your needs, you have a high antisocial thinking and mental health. So those are areas that you got the support that you need. You're just not embracing the support. You have a beautiful family. I really appreciate them here today supporting you. But you stop getting right up. You start doing what they say on the other side. For me, my vote is, again, not today. I want you to hear not today. That is my vote, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Watts. Ms. Jackson?
Mr. Minor, I'm glad you're making some progress. I am. I'll tell you, this is from, and I've seen some really difficult cases. But today my heart is broken because the victim of this case is in this hearing room and I can see her devastation. And I felt like she's been totally left out of this whole process. Nobody cares how well you did in spelling bee. That trivializes just the horrific nature of what you've done to her and how you've destroyed her life. And to characterize your actions as mistakes or an unwise choice just diminishes the harm that you have caused to her, because those mistakes and unwise choices have devastated this child. And everybody seems to forget about that. She's left out of the picture altogether. And so I don't think that's right. I think she needs to understand that what happened to her was terrible. And that I and other people on this board recognize how devastating this has been to her. And how devastating it would be to her to have your crime minimized by releasing you after you've served less than half of your sentence. I just can't do that today. I cannot. You have high risk. You have a fair institutional record. And you've had write-ups as recently as last year. So I don't think you're ready. And I think to release you would just minimize the impact that your crime has had on this girl and will continue to have on her. And I just hope that all the help that people are offering you, they would think about her. Because she's a member of their family too. That they would think about her and the help that she needs. So my vote today is to deny.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Mr. Minor, you received 2 votes to deny. My vote likewise would be to deny for the same reasons as outlined by my 2 colleagues. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.